Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin. The bulls are fighting. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. We also do have the recent Into the Cryptoverse NFT that we launched. We'll talk more about that at the end of the video if you are interested. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, the bulls are at least trying to put up a fight, with Bitcoin up over 4% on the day. Now, this is a trend line we have previously looked at. Look, I'm not big on trend lines. I'll be completely honest, because we know we can see them break and then they just come right back down. But with that said, since it seems like the entire cryptoverse is watching this trend line, I would at least be somewhat remiss if we didn't at least mention it. Why? Well, this trend line, this imaginary line in the sand, has held pretty good resistance for quite some time. You know, back at 69K, we also hit it around 52K as well. We also hit it at around 43K, and we recently hit it just a couple days ago at around 39K. And so now the reason I'm making this video to say that the bulls are fighting is because over the last 3 months, the bulls have not really fought so much, okay? Because we've been rejected every time we go up to this trend line. But today, for the first time in 3 months or so, the the Bitcoin bulls are at least putting up a fight. And now the price of Bitcoin is trading for just over $39,000, which is somewhat entertaining, to see the bulls actually do something. I know it's a lot of people have been fairly bored with price action over the last few months, but as we always know, downtrends in Bitcoin do not last forever. They can last longer than we care to admit or than we care to like, but they do not last forever. What I would say is proceed with caution as always. There are no guarantees in this market. Even if we break above it, we could come back down. One of the things we have seen before with trend lines is, breaking above it and then coming back down to maybe retest it, something like that. But one of the things we should at least say is that, look, on the daily time frame, the bulls are putting up a fight. If you go look at, say, like the daily RSI, the relative strength index, this is something we've looked at before. I'll go ahead and hide the moving average for it, and we'll just look at the raw values here. We can also see that there has been a breakout on the daily RSI as well. If you just kind of go look at what's happened here over the last several months, right? We had a high, we had a lower high, we broke above it, came back, retested, and now we're moving higher. So at least on the shorter time frames, the daily time frames, the bulls are doing something, okay? Now, the reason it always is prudent to remain cautious, as always, is zoom out to longer time frames and say, look at the weekly time frame. Okay, what's going on in the weekly time frame? Well, in the weekly time frame, it looks like we came down pretty low here, down to 33K, and now we are getting a push higher. What I would say is we would like to see us put in a higher price and then come back down and put in a higher low. Okay, so when you talk about like macro structure, what you really want to see is you want to see the bulls come in, put in a higher price, start an uptrend, then put in a higher low and show that, hey, like we're actually trying to shift gears here to go back into an uptrend. So let's be patient. I will say, if you look at the Heikin-Ashi candles, they are fighting here on this candle. I mean, it hasn't turned green yet, and we still have a little ways to go before it will turn green. But you can see that there, and you might wonder, I've had questions before. People say, well, why is it not green yet? Because if you hover here, we can see it shows that if the price were, say, 39.3 or 39.4, then it's above the midpoint from the prior weekly candle, therefore it should be green. The reason it's not green yet is because the current price, or the price that it's using, is a combination of the closing price, the open, the low, and the high. So it's a combination of a lot of different things, and that's what makes the Heikin-Ashi candles a little bit more informative than, say, your normal candles, because it actually takes into account more than just whatever happened to be the close or the open, but it also looks at kind of what happens in between as well. So look, on the daily time frame, we can see that the bulls are fighting. On the weekly time frame, it still has not really showed up yet. But one thing that has shown up is the upper shadow, the overshadow, I should say, the overshadow on the weekly Heikinashi. So we haven't seen one of those since, basically since December. And we are at least getting an overshadow. So the bulls are showing up a little bit on the weekly. But again, as always, we still have more work to do. So I would say let's just be patient. Let's see if the bulls can claw their way out of the back from the 30 to 40K levels and ultimately push higher. I will remind you, we do have the recent Into the Cryptoverse NFT. As I've said before, I am a Bitcoin bull with a couple panda bears next to me, also an Ether bull, as you can see. And so if you do get this one, we'll have it linked in the description below. And then you get the next one, you'll be able to claim a free NFT on May 3rd for free. So check it out. You can find a link to that in the description below. Well, we'll see what the Bitcoin bulls can come up with here. Trading, Bitcoin's trading for right around $39.5 thousand. I have to imagine that us getting back above 40K would certainly raise some eyebrows. So let's see if we can do that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.